have a duty towards the preservation and the propagation of the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Indeed, one of the best ways to work towards the reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi ajjalallahu ta'ala farajul sharif is through promoting the values of Karbala. Imam Hussein Media Group is the only Shia television network that broadcasts globally in 5 different languages: Arabic, Farsi, Turkish, Urdu, and English. We are appealing to the lovers of Imam Hussein alayhi salam worldwide to support the channel such that it may continue its global operations. Imam Hussein Media Group is seeking 1,000 partners to pledge to a £14 contribution per month. This will allow the channel to sustain its operating costs as we continue to spread the message of Imam Hussein alayhi salam in multiple languages across the globe. You be a part of this great legacy and donate today. You can pledge in 2 ways. www.imamhussein3.tv/donate will take you direct to our donation page where you can pledge monthly. Or you can call or WhatsApp us on 0044 793 9917163. Imam Hussein TV, your gateway to Karbala.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, ladies and gentlemen. Today we stand on the brink of a transformative moment, a chance to amplify the voice of our community, the voice of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam through the establishment of a new building for Imam Hassan TV, the Zaynabiya building. This is more than just a physical structure, it's a beacon of knowledge, unity and hope. And by contributing to this noble cause, you're actually investing in the future of our faith, ensuring that the teachings of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt and the rich heritage reach every corner of the globe. Your generosity will enable us to educate, inspire and connect with millions, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of our culture and the beliefs of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. So let's come together to make this vision a reality, leaving a lasting legacy for generations to come. Your support is not just a donation, it's a powerful testament to our collective commitment to spreading peace, wisdom and truth as taught by the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Divide and Dialogue, looking at Sunni Shia dialogue. After the beginning of Ramadan, we've had night upon night of the doctor discussing certain topics. You can see books behind me referring to different references, amazing topics, amazing discussions. And furthermore, we've had majalis. It's been inspirational, it's been motivational, and it has been definitely a change for all of us during this holy month of Ramadan. I'm sure you guys are eager to discuss with the Sayyid. We are taking your live calls in, your live questions. So if you have any questions, you can put it on the WhatsApp. The number will be there below. Send in your questions for the Sayyid, and inshallah, if we have time, we'll discuss. And if not, then we'll be rolling over to the next episode. Without further ado, let us welcome Dr. Sayyid Ammar Nakshawani. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidina.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, alhamdulillah.
MashaAllah. Before we begin, I must say, nice threads, you're looking dapper as always, mashallah.
Thank you.
A little bit more on San, is it called?
Yeah, the San collection, look over here.
Okay.
The San collection, follow it on Instagram. Mm-hmm. We're going to be dropping the hoodies and the tees, hopefully, for Eid.
Mashallah.
Yeah, so worldwide, hopefully reaching out to all of our supporters. the well-wishers. I think it's been a period in which a lot of people, having seen where a lot of our money goes, a person reflects and maybe says that we should start producing from within now. You know, there's a lot of products where the money is going elsewhere. There's a lot of people out there who we have as the most talented individuals in our community, and maybe we should start supporting those within our own. So 100%. Myself and others, you know, I think there's a lot of good work being done out there. And I hope everyone enjoys the collection, you know. Inshallah. So I look forward to it, and you'll have your hoodie soon.
Inshallah.
In a small or medium.
Double XL, please, Sayyid. Double XL. But Sayyidina, you've probably, arguably, you've had the most viewed content in Shia media, you know. With the question and answers you've been doing, with the dialogues you've been doing, the lectures, not forgetting the Shia voice, yes. You know, judging on there and so forth. Yes. So this Ramadan, how has it been for you?
Alhamdulillah. Honestly, you thank God that you're even able to be privy to another holy month of Ramadan. You know, you're thanking God that you're alive for another month of holy Ramadan. Shia voice has been amazing. After what seemed like a steady start, it just exploded. And I've got people from all parts of the world messaging about who they feel should win. And all of you, make sure you get your tickets for April the 5th as well. You know, that's a great opportunity for everybody out there to come to the Shia Voice final in Birmingham, where it's going to be an intense final. I know the semi-finals are going to be aired, of course, from tomorrow night. So, you know, we've had a great time. Of course, the Shia Voice was filmed a couple months ago, and all that's left is the final on April the 5th. So that's been amazing. Birmingham was amazing. You know, the Al-Abbas Islamic Center, that was amazing. And Alhamdulillah, we had a donor who donated $100,000 to the Birmingham Mosque project. I'm super happy to announce that. You know, I had spoken with somebody in the community and said that I had, you know, gone to the mosque and so on. And he said to me, well, you know, I'd love to support and so on. And they gave 100,000. So, you know, thumbs up and shout out to the Al-Abbas Islamic Center in Birmingham. And of course, last but not least, all these behind me and Imam Al-Hussein TV. It's been wonderful. It's been exhilarating stuff. Edge of the seat stuff. You know, I think when I've seen all these memes go around the world of some of my facial expressions, you know, people being sent messages about, you know, how passionate things have been behind the scenes. But the work behind the scenes, the team behind the scenes have been unbelievable. The topics have been great. The feedback, you know, the rise of passionate Shia who are proud of their identity, who know their literature. And that's the aim of this whole series. The aim is that our people are aware of their reading of Islamic history. And hopefully others who are not Shia are also aware of why we believe in certain things. And, you know, these books have been super helpful. And you guys behind the scenes as well, who maybe don't get the credit that you deserve. You know, I thank each and every one of you for the hard work over the past 23 nights, 24 nights or so.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Sayyidina, when you started, you know, the series this Ramadan, the production of a certain Muawiya series, documentary film, whatever it is, your take on it was very different. I mean, a lot of people would have been against it. A lot of people would be like, what is this propaganda? But yours was more, you know, different towards, you know, what the average community member would have assumed. Could you explain your opinion and your view, and why do you have that view of the Muawiya series?
Yeah, the Muawiya series broadcast on NBC, $100 million being spent on it. I think if it was the me of a few years ago, I would have straight away just had a reactionary type of reply. And that would be, oh, Muawiya is this, Muawiya is that, and so on and so forth. My worldview now is there is no problem if somebody wants to make a film depicting Muawiya in a positive light, because that's what it says in their sources. I cannot force my reading of Islamic history onto them. If I do not like Muawiya, and I'm quite open that I don't like him, other Muslims do, and we have to respect the fact that everybody has the right to depict history in the way they want to. When therefore I have a film about, Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, for example, or there's a film about Saqifa, or a film about Fadak, or a film about the Prophet's life, then, don't go out and demonstrate all over cinemas in the UK and say, why can't you have this? Why can we have this? You don't have a monopoly on Islamic history. Many Shia, in the past, if somebody in the Sunni community gave their version of a reading of history, the Shia would reply. Now, I don't see it as a reply. I say, you do your thing, and you're more than entitled to do your thing. And that's a reading of Islam, and it has valid sources behind it. And I have my reading of the religion, and I should be entitled to present it. And I should be entitled to discuss it. So if somebody wants to say Abu Talib is a kafir, for example.
Allahu Akbar.
No, but it's okay. Wait. Don't react. Abu Talib is a kafir. That is the opinion of a particular reading of a school of Islam. That's their reading. I reject it. But they have every right to reach whatever conclusion they want. They have their qabr, I have mine.
True.
They have their grave, I have mine. I can present Abu Talib as the mu'min that I know him. But if they want to present Abu Talib as a disbeliever, I'm not going to cause a hoo-ha. Let them present him. They have a reading and I have a reading. So the Shia have to, in my opinion, this is my theory, have to move towards a direction where they say that your reading is one of the possible readings of Islam and that we have a reading. And whoever you slander, if you want to slander somebody, we may love that person. But we're not going to be antagonized by you slandering them. But also, if we don't like somebody, please don't get antagonized. We also have a valid reading of history.
I mean, say now with the Lady Fatima film that was there was a lot of controversy. There was a lot of what they called fitna. Same with this one, with the Muawiya series. You can understand why certain groups would be upset. Al-Azhar University, I think, Al-Azhar wanted it banned.
Yes.
I mean, why do you think they'd want it banned?
You want the public reason or what I think is the real reason?
How about both? How about both? Let's start with the public one, which was available on online or whatever, and then what you think is the real
I
reason.
think the public reason for why they don't want this Muawiya film, why Al-Azhar is so unhappy with this film, is the public reason is because of the depiction of the faces of companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? The private reason, or the real reason, I think, is because they are angry that Muawiya's role in Islamic history and the early fitan and dissension in this early Islamic history and the schism where the companions were killing each other has all been finally made public. You've got to understand, in the Sunni world, you know and I know, said Muhsin, average Sunni, you ask him what's Saffin. Average Sunni, hasn't got a clue what's Saffin, what's Jamal. Haven't got a clue about these civil wars. That's why they have to rely on these guys who do debates on YouTube. They have to rely on these guys because when they ask the question that how could Aisha fight Ali, or how could Muawiya raise an army to fight Ali? If you just reply that Muawiya wanted revenge or Muawiya wanted to find the killers of his cousin, yeah, but he's fighting somebody who the Prophet, peace be upon his family, has guaranteed Jannah to. And he's killed somebody like Ammar bin Yasir, his army has been responsible. I think why Al-Azhar is really triggered and they are unhappy that this film has been released is because now your average Sunni, when they watch this film, more so of course in the Middle East, I think they're going to be asking questions saying, did Muawiyah fight Ali? Wait, Ali is guaranteed Jannah. Ali is the fourth caliph. Love of Ali is faith, hatred of him is hypocrisy. Ali is the one who the Prophet said, Man kuntu mawla fahada. Ali mawla. So if we don't say the word mawla means anything to do with guardianship or authority, it still means friend. So it's to fight the friend of someone who Rasulullah said, Man kuntu mawla. If it means friend, you're fighting the friend of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. If Muawiyah's got away with all of this, who else got away with fighting? I think that the Sunni world, in many cases, super unhappy like Al-Azhar. And Al-Azhar, you know, the Sunni world hierarchically is not like the Shia world. So in the Shia world, the hierarchy is always very clear that it's Najaf Qum. Sunni world, you can't say that everybody follows a marja in Al-Azhar called Mufti so-and-so, or everybody follows a marja taqleed in Medina called Mufti so-and-so. No. Yes, Al-Madinah, Al-Azhar, these are centers of learning, no doubt. But in the Sunni world, the hierarchy is not exactly the same. So even when Al-Azhar says that we don't like this too much, I don't think anyone cares. But I think Al-Azhar cares. Why? Because know one thing, that Sunni Islam, part of its evolution, while the companions are raised so high, the suspension of discussions concerning companions and the suspension of judgments on the behavior and the actions of the companions is part of Sunni Aqidah. There was actually an early group called the Murji'ah. They suspended judgment when they saw companions fight each other. Someone who says Adalat al-Sahaba and all the companions are righteous, you come back to them and you're like, hold on a minute, if they're all righteous and they all love each other, there's like at least 25,000 deaths between companions and tabi'een 25 years after the Prophet, peace be upon his family, has died. So when you make a film on Muawiya, your average Sunni who's having their iftar at home and is watching, it's like, wait a minute, I thought Salaf al-Salih was the most golden generation and that's the best one that's ever been there, and then all of a sudden they look at Salaf al-Salih and what do they say? So these Salaf al-Salih, Tabi'een and Tabi'een, all of them are either fighting against each other, wanting each other dead, killing each other, banishing each other, working under corrupt caliphs, silent against corrupt caliphs. And I think that's the main reason they abhorred the idea of a film on Muawiyah. A film, for example, on Umar ibn al-Khattab, which NBC did show a couple of years back, they were more than happy with that, because Umar ibn al-Khattab, after the Prophet dies, you don't need to really show the back and forth between him and Fatima al-Zahra alayhi salam, and then he dies and there isn't really a Jamal or a Siffin or Nahrawan. Whereas Muawiya opens doors that the Sunni world for years tried to close. And the Sunni world still cannot give you answers. They give you different readings, but they can't give you one answer as to, there are some Sunnis you'll meet say Muawiya is a companion, you must respect him. Others who say Muawiya is not that great, but he still met the Prophet. Others who say Muawiya was one of the biggest troublemakers. So even in the Sunni world, we can't generalize and say each of them adores or loves Muawiya. But yeah, I could see why Al-Azhar wouldn't want something like that to be out. Yep.
Some have called this your paradigm shift of two readings.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a paradigm shift. I believe it. I believe a part of the paradigm shift is to accept, as a general statement, that there's two readings of the last 1400 years of Islamic history. The Sunni reading and the Shia reading. Of course, we can break both of them down into sub-readings and even more sub-readings. But generally, there's a Sunni reading of the last 1400 years, and the Sunni reading cannot monopolize the reading. Sometimes when people think Islam, they think Sunni Islam. No. There's a Sunni narrative of the last 1400 years and the Shia narrative of the last 1400 years. Our Sunni brethren, they have every right to have a reading depending on these sources that they admire, these sources that are so important for them. I also have been around for 1400 years, or 1326, 1311, 1371, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to say, we're still firmly early in Islamic history. And so because of that, my paradigm shift is to say, instead of Shia always reacting to what Sunnis think, is to say that there's a reading, we have a reading, we may not like certain people, you cannot force who you like on us, and we cannot force who we like on them.
Yeah, saying that also you reject the Sunni Islam as a normative Islam, or the Islam that is apparent and promoted.
Yeah, I reject the whole concept that's been pushed for over 1,000 years, and that is that Sunni Islam is normative Islam. I see that as nonsense, in all honesty. The earliest sects in Islam all have a particular narrative and all have a particular right for their theology and for their laws to be respected. And I'm even going to add to that the Kharijites. While I reject the Khariji worldview, the Kharijites are early. The Murji'ah are early. the Shia are early, whether you want to call the Shia ghulat, and you want to say they're too early and so on and so forth. The reality remains that Shia are early, Kharijites are early, the Murji'a are early, the Uthmaniyya are early, of course, the Mu'tazila are early. To say that Sunni Islam is normative Islam, even Sunni Islam, as I showed in my episodes, Sunni Islam can't even decide for itself which way to follow. There are some Sunnis that say to you, what are you? You say, Maturidi. And what are you? I'm Ash'ari. And what are you? I'm Salafi. But publicly, you'll see everybody prays like this in Jama'ah. But one is very ready to slander the other. A Salafi will not have a problem, as some of their sheikhs we showed. The Salafi will not have a problem seeing somebody and saying that your path is completely the wrong aqidah. I just want to ask the Sunni world, listen, are all your readings valid? Well, if you have 10 different readings, Tahawi, Maturidi, Mu'tazili, Ash'ari, Athari, Salafi, if you have all these different readings and you're okay with it, so what's wrong with me having a different reading? They're like, no, because you guys don't respect so it all comes down to respect of the companions. That's all it comes down to. Do you know what I mean? The only reason they'll do takfir on some Shia, some Sunnis, not all, is because they'll say you don't respect the companions. Well, even between you guys, the number of different readings you have, that's in thought.
Yes.
And the number of different readings that the Sunni world has when it comes to law. You know, you often hear Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali.
Yeah.
Those aren't the only schools of law. Those are what got canonized as the main schools of law. Otherwise, there were a number of schools of law with different people giving their own school and their own opinion about what is it that represents the law of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi. So this nonsense that Sunni Islam is normative Islam, it's unbelievable. Sunni Islam is not normative Islam. On the contrary, all these early different groupings, even Sunni and Shia, what we know today, these all, their crystallization of their theologies do not occur straight away. There are still kingships and caliphates, and who allows what to be canonized? Is the Quran eternal or is it created? Suddenly Al-Ma'mun is pro-Mu'tazili, Al-Mutawakkil is anti. You know, and all at that time, what is this? This is all Sunni thought. Ahmad bin Hanbal is still trying to canonize what Sunni thought is, but at the same time, Tahawi is. You know, it's just Sunni Islam. When you break it down, you cannot get a clear picture of whether Allah has a body according to some, Allah doesn't have a body according to others. Whether Rasulullah is bewitched according to some or Rasulullah isn't bewitched. Whether the Quran has many different copies or one copy. I still can't get my head around it. And I just wanted our people to be aware of this. That, you know, don't look at it when they say we are Sunni, that everybody is the same and everybody agrees with each other. The number of breakdowns I can have within Sunni theology and law, we could go all year, not all night. Yeah.
Fantastic. Just a quick reminder to all the viewers that we are taking in your questions. If you have any questions you'd like to send in, the number's over there just below me. You can send in your questions via WhatsApp and inshallah the Sayyid will answer your queries. Here's a question coming in, Sayyidina, or is from Ali in Australia. The Shia pride has grown exponentially, especially in your last couple of seasons. Many youth now proud of their Shia online display of it. Why do you think this has happened?
Well, you know, I think that a lot of our youth were facing a backlash internally and externally. Internally, there were people who were beginning to raise what I thought were valid questions, in all honesty. And some of our youths were not able to answer these questions. The mosques, unfortunately, did not catch up to the intensity of the dialogues and the debates that were taking place in the online arena. Also, at the same time, many of our books were being scrutinized. So internally, we had people who were raising questions. Externally, there's always been people who raise questions. In the past, as I said, the Shia would be on the back foot. How do I defend imamah? How do I defend tawassul? How do I defend shafa'ah? So if you look at last year's series, I'm more focused on proving Shia beliefs from Sunni literature.
Okay.
This year, I decided I'm just going to go straight into the Sunni creed. So instead of us focusing on what we, no, let's see what you believe. Let's see your origin. Let's see where you stemmed from. Let's see your tawheed, because I'm not understanding your tawheed. God puts his foot in hell. Now someone might turn around and say, that's only the Salafis. No. Salafis are called Sunni. This one's called Sunni. This one's called Sunni. These are all not ma'soom. So you can't say your opinion is better than their opinion, because the day you moved from Saqifa to anyone being able to lead the Muslim community, it meant that everybody's opinion was valid within your school. So what I feel was that many of the Shia in our communities, part of it was that they were being attacked online and they were looking for someone to give them the answers. Part of it was the typical Shia pragmatism that's always existed, that look, we're a minority. It's better that we don't discuss these things, because when we discuss these things, it's going to get us into more difficulties. I always say that there are principles in the Quran which we can follow about these issues. And we will come to them, I'm sure. And it's very important for us to realize that we can either remain silent on certain issues or lose our aqeedah. Our aqeedah is an aqd between us and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's something binding. It's a contract that connects us with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That aqeedah cannot be broken. And a person can talk about all other subjects that they want, but if someone's aqeedah is shaken, then a whole community's aqeedah becomes shaken and begins to rot. And so when the brother says that we've grown exponentially, it's because I would hope that I've given them that confidence to say that, ask me any questions. I'll ask you about your school. Let me open the books about your school. Let's ask questions about your prophet.
Wow.
And the difference with our prophet and the narratives concerning your God and our God. And it doesn't surprise me sometimes when Imam Hassan alayhi salam states the similarity between us and them is the Kaaba.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. Well said. Also saying that when it comes to, you discussing these topics, sometimes you're very, very passionate, sometimes very, very somber and so forth. What are the different manners?
Most of the time passionate.
100%.
True.
100%.
Yeah.
And why shouldn't you be? I mean, we're all lovers of the Ahlul Bayt and so forth. So what is the different manners and forms you've seen in the Quran, that the Ahlul Bayt literature, about the way they spoke to those who differed with them?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. In the Quran, how do you speak to those who differ with you? It's interesting. You've of course got Habil, particularly polite with Qabil when Qabil wants to kill him.
Okay.
The famous ayahs in Surah Al-Ma'idah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قال لئن بسطت إلي يدك لتقتلني ما أنا بباسط يدي إليك لأقتلك إني أخاف الله رب العالمين. So Habil with his brother, there's like a even extra politeness that if you put forward your hand to strike me, I'm not going to put forward my hand to strike you, because I fear the Lord, the Master of the universe. Of course, we have a general principle in the Quran: ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. I cannot deny this. Invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and a good word, and speak to them in that manner which is better. That's another general principle within the Quran. Of course, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes does open up certain people's behaviors and in a way, goes right into them. عُتُلٍ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ الزَّنِيمِ, the accursed son of adultery, in reference to Walid ibn al-Mughira, Khalid's dad. When the children of Israel and the Jewish community at the time are described as donkeys. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار. Again, the tone is quite harsh. And I think in Surah Al-Ankabut or Surah Al-Rum, and we recited these last night, there is one particular verse that says, speak to the people of the book in that way which is better, except if they have oppressed. Speak to the people of the book in that way which is better, except, there's an exception. Normally, the best way to talk with people who differ with you, normally, is to talk with, in a manner which is civil, a manner of respect and wisdom, unless those people have oppressed you. And the Shia, since the time of the Imams, had two different types of people who would enter dialogue with others. Some of these people who would enter dialogue with others would be quite, we will say, civil and would engage in that which is better most of the time. But then I give you an example of someone like Mu'min al-Taq. Mu'min al-Taq, companion of our sixth Imam. Mu'min al-Taq was, according to some, referred to as Shaitan al-Taq instead of Mu'min al-Taq by people like Abu Hanifa, because Mu'min al-Taq was sharp in his replies. When the Shia were being oppressed and the Shia were being slandered, Quran said that talk to the people of the book in that way which is better, except if they oppress. When people are oppressing us, saying that we believe Imam Ali is God, or we have a different Quran, or we have tails, or we commit zina in our mosques, or that we are mushrik, sons of mut'ah, Quran says then the tone has to change. Mu'min al-Taq, companion of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, was very sharp in his tone. And he became a scourge for Abu Hanifa. A scourge for Abu Hanifa. Famous discussion of Mu'min al-Taq with Abu Hanifa when Mu'min al-Taq said that we the Shia believe in the raj'ah, the return. And I remember Abu Hanifa saying to him, well, if you believe in the raj'ah, lend me 500 dinars. And when we return in the raj'ah, I'll give it back to you. If you believe that we're going to come back after we die, lend me 500 quid. I'll give it back to you when we return. And Mu'min al-Taq replied to him by saying, you have a point. I'll give you 500 dinar, but there's a problem. In the raj'ah, enemies of Ahlul Bayt return as animals, so I won't be able to recognize you to see where you are. Now, Mu'min al-Taq has quite a sharp way. I believe that even as speakers, our temperaments are different. All of us who sit on manabir, our temperaments are different. There is somebody who sits on minbar, he is introvert by nature. There are some, oratory is not the gift they've been blessed with. They have ilm, but they're not orators. There are some, you may think that he is an orator, but it's actually, that is the way he speaks. He's quite commanding and passionate. There are others who've perfected their oratory. Different crowds require different things. Different times require different things. There's a time I need Hisham ibn al-Hakam, a time I need Hisham bin Salim, a time I need Zurara bin Ayun, a time I need Muhammad bin Muslim, a time I need Abu Basir, a time I need someone like Burayda bin Muawiya al-Ajli, or Muawiya bin Ammar, Muhammad bin Abi Umar, Ayyub bin Nuh, Yunus bin Abd al-Rahman, Zakaria bin Adam. But there's also a time that I need Mu'min al-Taq. For someone to say that the Shia worldview, when discussing every school in Islam, always, at every time, has to be ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة والموعظة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن. Wallah, that is the way that many of us have done for years. Only to be called sons of mut'ah and sons of sin and sons of shirk.
There you go.
So my brother, when you see people getting bullied and you turn around and say, because you've never been privy to these discussions. I always say that those who haven't lived in the UK don't know how intense it is.
Wow.
There are people who live in parts of America, for example, or Canada. And I must admit that a lot of those parts of America and Canada, alhamdulillah, Sunni and Shia both accept that, you know what, you got a reading, we have a reading, and we can work together. But in the UK, whether we like it or we don't, I am never going to be invited to a Sunni majority mosque to speak, because my narrative and my reading, which I postulate and spoke about earlier, that the Shia reading is also a valid reading, it is not in their eyes. It's not. As much as you clamor, as much as you show 100 of these books behind me, you'll still have someone, even if you show these books, even if he sees the page and the ISBN number,
That's their books.
even if you show all of that, they'll still turn around and say, no, you know what, I'm still not accepting your argument, and so on and so forth. So yeah, if you want to study the seerah of the Imams and their companions, there is a time and place for each companion, his worldview at that particular moment.
Question coming in from Asim in Germany. You mentioned Sunni thought believes in a God with a body, but we Maturidis don't. It's only Salafis who do.
Well, thanks Asim for making my point. He says that we the Maturidis don't believe in God having a body, and the Salafis do. So again, the confusion of Sunni Islam. Anyone in Sunni Islam can have 100 different opinions on one Aqidah issue. And that's why I always say, I don't understand, how do you discuss, you know, when people want to debate with Sunni Muslims, you bring me 6 of them in Speaker's Corner. This one is a Maturidi Athari, this one's a Salafi Ash'ari, this one is a Maturidi Hanafi, this one is a High. Each one of them can also camouflage themselves, jumping from opinion to opinion, to the extent that some of them will even say things like, I'm a Salafi, but not in everything. What does that even mean? Honestly, what does that mean? I'm a Salafi, honestly. And look, when people laugh about these things, I'm trying to be as sensitive as possible about this. When someone says, I'm a Salafi, but not everything. I'm a Maturidi, but in some things. I'm a Maliki, but I don't mind Abu Hanifa's opinion on that. One thing, they always used to say, you guys never quote Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You've just quoted me a Samarqandi who you follow in Aqidah, and Ghazan you follow in law. Because when a person says, for example, that I'm a Maturidi, then I'm in that Samarqand area or near it. And if I follow a Shafi'i in law, then I'm a Ghazan. So who's the ones who are quoting from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? When all the names that you now mention are miles away from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. No, but the Shia are the ones, because we held on to Ahlul Bayt, we're the problematic ones.
Ali from Scotland is asking, if Sunnis love Ahlul Bayt, then how do they resolve conflicts between them and the companions?
Yeah, look, the Sunni love of Ahlul Bayt is present at different levels. Different levels. If I go to Pakistan today, some Sunnis love Ahlul Bayt maybe as passionately as Shia.
Yeah, 100%.
They love the descendants of Ahlul Bayt.
Yeah.
Imagine. Not, يعني, if they love Sadat in Pakistan, when they see Sadat, straight away the love they have is unreal. So if there are people who, for example, in Pakistan love the descendants, imagine how much then they love Ahlul Bayt.
Yeah.
There are, I would say, if you go to Pakistan, the Indo-Pak subcontinent generally, that is the highest love of Sunnis for Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. They'll cry for Imam al-Hussein.
Yeah.
They'll attend Ashura majalis.
Yeah.
They'll attend Ashura processions. Then after that, in Africa, you've got people who love Muhammad and Al Muhammad, salawatullah wa salamu alayhim. They are of the Sufi classes. And a lot of their chains go back to the Imams of Ahlul Bayt or their students. They permeate into even going towards parts of the Far East. Indonesia, Malaysia can have some of these people who are also Sunnis who love Ahlul Bayt. The lowest category of Sunni love for Ahlul Bayt tends to be where the Gulf / Middle East. When I say the lowest category, doesn't mean that they don't love Ahlul Bayt. But their love is not as intense in terms of dhikr, mourning, tears, as you'd find in the Sufi tradition and as you'd find in the Indo-Pak subcontinent. The lowest of these would be Jordanian, Palestinian, Saudi, Syrian Salafi Brotherhood. These over here, they are the ones whose love, they love Imam Ali, Fatima Zahra, but nothing more. There's no need for, wilada. There's no such thing as respecting Shia, have a love. No, nothing like that. Someone says then, how do they resolve the conflict between the companions fighting Ahlul Bayt? We know very well. Talha fought Imam Ali. Zubair fought Imam Ali.
Correct.
Amr ibn al-As fought Imam Ali. Not all the companions fought Ahlul Bayt, number one. There are some companions, they didn't fight for Ahlul Bayt, nor did they fight Ahlul Bayt. You see, they didn't fight for, nor fight against. If you look at some of these, they remain what they call themselves the people of retirement or seclusion. I'tizal in one way. But these people were like Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, for example. He wouldn't fight Imam Ali at a Jamal. Of course, his son leads an army to kill Imam Hussein at Karbala. But he, Sa'ad bin Abi Waqqas, he is a companion who doesn't fight. The companions who do, how do the Sunni Muslims resolve it? A, some haven't got a clue.
Okay.
Some haven't got a clue that these companions fought Imam Ali. Some have never heard of Ma'rakat al-Gamal, as they say in Egypt, or Ma'rakat al-Jamal. Some don't even know what Saffin is. Some don't even know that the companions were outspoken against Uthman. They wouldn't believe these things because you're nurtured in a house where literally everything has been whitewashed and everybody loves each other.
Yeah.
The ones who do know about this, they fall into a number of categories. One category of them are the ones who say, it happened 1400 years ago, so what? What difference will it make today? That's one category. A second category of them are the ones who say, Imam Ali was right, they were wrong, but Imam Ali forgave them.
Okay.
You have to say Imam Ali forgave them. Why? Because it allows the whole conception that you have of Adalat al-Sahaba to remain.
Yeah, that narrative they push.
Others of them, the third opinion, is that they say, this was a fitna, and in the Quran in Surah Al-Hujurat, God does mention that two of the ta'ifas of the Muslimin can fight each other. Two of the ta'ifas of the mu'mineen can fight each other. It can happen. A fourth group of them, they say that no, both of them were duped by a Yemeni Jew called Abdullah bin Saba. That's another opinion.
Oh, wow.
Another group of them say Aisha was on the right and Imam Ali was on the right.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but they say that Aisha had her valid claim that Uthman has been killed. And so because Uthman has been killed, Aisha's claim is valid. That she has to find the killers of Uthman. The killers of Uthman are with Imam Ali alayhi salam. And therefore Aisha, she had a valid claim, but ijtahadat fa'akhtat. She did her ijtihad. Because in the Sunni world, one of the best ways in which Umar and Aisha and Muawiya and everybody gets away with things is ijtihad. They all have their ijtihad. For us, of course, the ma'soom is designated by Allah. You can't have ijtihad without permission or against the ma'soom. But for them, ijtihad against the ma'soom's opinion is fine. So even sometimes us as Shia, we have to also, and I try to repeat this as many times as I can, when I discuss Shia Sunni, I have no problem whatsoever with Sunni people. I am discussing Sunni history, theology and law. The average Sunni person is a friend. Someone we grew up with, someone who's eaten your mom's food, someone you played five-a-side football with.
Yeah.
I am discussing their theology and creed. It's not going to be a below-the-belt personal attacks on anyone. And the Shia also have to understand the different levels of the Sunni and their salvation in the hereafter. And what do I mean? Somebody who's a Sunni at the time of Imam al-Hadi alayhi salam, who met Imam al-Hadi and talked with Imam al-Hadi, is different from someone today who's a Sunni. Someone who's met the Ahl al-Bayt in that first few generations, different from someone today. So we're not discussing here who goes heaven, who goes hell. They have their readings and arguments which they still can't agree on. Should Aisha have left her house when the Quran says وَقَرْنَ فِي بُيُوتِكُنَّ وَلَا تَبَرَّجْنَ تَبَرُّجِ الْجَاهِلِيَّةِ الْأُولَىٰ قِمْنَ الصَّلَاةِ أَتِينَ الزَّكَاةِ. They have their readings about whether Aisha should have gone as the wife of the Prophet, led an army. Was Aisha wrong? Did Aisha get forgiven? Was she sincerely repentant? They have their reading, no problem. But they try and find a way to reconcile the killer and the killed, and that's where we have an issue.
Wow. From Amin, all the way from Sweden. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyid. I have become a Shia because of your sessions on the Prophet being bewitched. All this time I thought the Shia didn't respect or appreciate the Prophet, peace be upon him, entirely. Then I heard you discussing bewitched, affected by magic, Satan, suicidal. I made decision on the spot to change my Aqidah. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And on the contrary, you're a source of pride for us. You should be proud of yourself. Look. The Prophet of Sunni Islam, Bukhari and Muslim, you could read them all day. It's unbelievable, right from the beginning, the man has got, the way they describe him, he needs a heart transplant, and he's affected by Satan and he's bewitched and magic affects him and his private life is so public and he wants to be suicidal at a certain point and Jibreel, pushes him and so on. And this has a number of reasons why this prophet emerges in this way. One reason is, of course, if you're going to rely on Aisha and Anas bin Malik and Abdullah bin Umar and Abu Huraira, these are four people who, of course, in Shia reading of Islamic history, our reading, we do not respect these people. But they do. On the second level, Ibn Shihab al-Zuhri, Ibn Ishaq and others, they're all working for respective governments. People like Aban bin Uthman bin Affan and others, they're working under the Umayyad times. These ones are working under the Abbasid times. The government are going to keep an eye on the seerah. The government are going to make sure certain things are included in the seerah. Certain things are omitted from the seerah. And that's why I said that we have ulama, past and present. Said Ja'far Murtada al-Amili, of course, one of our scholars alive today, Rasul Ja'fariyan, Sheikh Najah al-Ta'i, Sheikh Ahmed Salman. All of these people, they are working so hard to re-examine the seerah of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon his family, because our Prophet has been oppressed. And maybe when the Prophet said that no Prophet has been oppressed as much as I have, maybe he was referring to the fact that my seerah is going to be changed completely. My stories are going to be changed. My image is going to be changed. My interactions with my family members is going to be changed.
I mean, but don't they still believe that he's ma'soom, that the Prophet is ma'soom?
Yeah, and Sunni thought the Prophet ﷺ is ma'soom. Although the majority opinion is that he's ma'soom in revelation. Outside of revelation, they say, there's a possibility that the Prophet could make mistakes and so on and so forth. But with wahi, they say that the Prophet is ma'soom.
So now we've got about 5 minutes left of the show, so let's try and get some of these questions coming in from our viewers. Assalamu alaikum, Sayyidina. In your lecture on Imam Hassan, you said they gave bay'ah to Muawiya. We also assume sulh only. Where exactly is bay'ah mentioned? Did you mean sulh?
No, I didn't mean sulh. I actually meant bay'ah.
Wow.
Yeah. Bay'ah, Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, whatever he does, he makes a decision that this person is my enemy. In Bukhari, Imam Ali leads an army to fight Muawiya. Muawiya then offers by sending 2 of his henchmen to try and make a peace treaty with Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Otherwise, Imam Hassan wants Muawiya dead. Muawiya is, is a problem in the Muslim community. But then, of course, Imam Hassan sees Muawiya's bribing his soldiers. He sees some of his soldiers have not gone out because they don't like Muawiya. They're going out for the spoils of war. And Imam Hassan alayhi salam makes a decision that the only way forward is a treaty, yes, conditions are met. And then Shaykh al-Saduq narrates in Ilal al-Shara'i, chapter 159, that Imam al-Hassan, Imam al-Hussein, and Qais bin Sa'ad go towards Sham, and that bay'ah is given there. So it's not just sulh that is there, there is bay'ah that's there. When an imam decides anything, an imam knows what's best for his community. After that was done, Imam al-Hassan lived for another 10 years. He built a whole generation of lovers of Abu Turab in Medina.
Next question is from Sarah in America. It says, would you admit there are question marks about imamah in Shi'i thought? Zaydi, Ismaili, Ibn Ashri. Why don't you address these too?
If God gives us long life, inshallah, we'll address everything as much as we can. Hopefully with your support for Imam al-Hussein TV and the work behind the scenes. Then we definitely, why not address imam? I do believe there are a number of valid questions that are asked by Sunni scholars about imamah, specifically about the imams of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam in the latter period. Everybody can see that Ghadir is quite clear, but then people begin to ask questions when Imam al-Baqir onwards about the designation of an imam, how public is it done, did the companions know about the imam, but there's no problem with these things. All of these things we can discuss, our ulama have discussed, the imams, the period of their lives, ranging from kutub called Kutub al-Ghayba or Kitab al-Ghayba of the likes of Tusi, Nu'mani, and others. Then you've got, Dr. Jasim Hussein's wonderful book, The Occultation of the 12th Imam, where he discusses the underground networks that the Imams had to build in periods of oppression. And there's so many interesting works that are still coming out discussing Imams and Imam, and we have no problem. Even if our people, remember, if we say Imam is one of the usul of the madhab, then this has to be having rational and textual inquiry and discussions. And we have no problem with that. Inshallah, in this forthcoming episode from tomorrow night, I think we can discuss more of these things, inshallah.
I think we have time for one more question. Now, this is from Muhammad from South Africa. Who are the Alawites in Syria? What is their history and background? We have seen last few years back and forth.
We'll discuss the Alawites, because I know that we're being told there's only a couple of minutes left and my answer won't suffice. So maybe that could be the first question of tomorrow night's Q&A, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you so much for all the viewers and so forth for joining us on this episode with Dr. Sayyid Ammar. Sorry we didn't answer all your questions, but we'll roll over to tomorrow, inshallah. I think we've got time for one final thought from you, Sayyidina, to the viewers, whatever you'd like to say to them.
Well, look, just God bless everybody, and I apologize. You've all sent in messages in this period. I thank you all for your support and your kindness. Let's see you at the Shia Voice final on April the 5th. I really look forward to seeing everybody and hopefully meeting and greeting as many people as we can. And inshallah, tomorrow night and the next few nights, we'll have some wonderful Q&As. Keep sending the questions in, and we'll endeavor to answer as many as we can, inshallah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sayyidina.
God bless.
Thank you to all of you for joining us on this episode. Inshallah, like the Sayyid said, we'll be back tomorrow taking on more of your questions. So if you want to send them in, you can send them in now throughout the night. It's not a problem. And inshallah, we'll collect them all together and we'll address the Sayyid tomorrow. Until then, please remember us in your du'as and keep watching Imam Hussain TV 3. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
السلام عليكم، وأنا إبراهيم عمري 6. حتى أنا وددت أبوي واشتاق له. ظل يشرب حبوب، نوبة طلع تدرن، نوبة مات. أنا عايز طيارة بالعيد مثلا، أي شيء. طيارة هاي الطيارة من هاي مثلا، أي طيارة. هاي طيارة الرفع بالسماء تتنزل مثلا، أي طيارة أخذها.
Little Ibrahim here wanted a drone. Thanks to make the du'as come true and your donations, we got him a drone.
This Eid, let's show orphans that they are not alone. Your contribution can help us provide them with love, care, and a memorable celebration.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, ladies and gentlemen. Today we stand on the brink of a transformative moment, a chance to amplify the voice of our community, the voice of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, through the establishment of a new building for Imam Hassan TV, the Zaynabiya building. This is more than just a physical structure, it's a beacon of knowledge, unity and hope. And by contributing to this noble cause, you're actually investing in the future of our faith, ensuring that the teachings of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt and the rich heritage reach every corner of the globe. Your generosity will enable us to educate, inspire and connect with millions, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of our culture and the beliefs of the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt. So let's come together to make this vision a reality, leaving a lasting legacy for generations to come. Your support is not just a donation, it's a powerful testament to our collective commitment to spreading peace, wisdom and truth as taught by the Holy Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam.